guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Crown Genesis in St. Pete, Florida, and guess what? We have that one sports sedan that's getting some changes for 2024, and it's this vehicle right here. This is a 2024 Genesis G70. This one, though, is your entry level into the G70. That means that it now has a new, more powerful engine underneath the hood. But before we get into this rear-wheel drive luxury sports sedan, let's talk about what's going on here. When you think of luxury, a lot of times you automatically think of brands like BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Acura, so on and so forth. Well, guess what? Genesis is one of those brands that you need to be adding to your list if it is not already there. They've only been around as a brand since 2015, that premium brand of Hyundai, and what once started as a model within Hyundai's lineup is now their premium brand. Now the G70 is the smallest sedan in their lineup, and it's real simple. G70, G80, and then the full size is the G90. But what I want to find out is if you're looking for the best new sports sedan for the money, is this G70 with that new engine the way to go over the competition? Let's go ahead. Let's dive into our Tasman Blue. Love the name of this color, love the look of the color, G70, and find out. Right off the bat, one of the things that's going to pop out is going to be the color, of course. And it's interesting because depending on how much sunlight you have, this blue really changes its personality. Now, speaking of personality, the Genesis brand has a lot of it when it comes to their lighting. They have this split level headlight setup, very unique. You're not going to confuse it with any other brand. Full LED daytime running lamps, turn signals, and projector beam headlights. Working our way down, we still have that nice, aggressive, functional corner air intake. And the good news is that it's a clean, flat black. I think that's one of the other things I like about the front of this Genesis. Not a bunch of chrome all over the place, but the way they angle it, super clean, yet super aggressive and classy all at the same time. Now, besides the headlight design, the other big identifier that this is a Genesis vehicle is gonna be that ginormous grille. I think it's one of the only brands that has a grille this large, yet it works, it looks good. Dark chrome finish up top, that crisscross design. If you look, it's all about the pointy pinpoint shape. So you have that point in all of the designs from top to bottom. I love the way it's got a nice sort of curve to it. And then the bottom portion has a concave shape to it, fully functional. And like I said, gives it that aggressive look, and it doesn't make it look too over the top. If you compare it to some of the German brands, those designs are getting a little gaudy, so to speak. This just looks elegant, but it looks ready to rock and roll. Now, as we rise up, you do have a smooth curve to the top portion of the front fascia, that Genesis badge, starting to become more and more prominent. And I love the way that they actually form the body lines of the nose and the hood based off the wingtips of the Genesis badge. They go into the hood and then they curve and evaporate as they get towards the A-pillars. Now, as we come around the bend, you're gonna see some of the changes for 2024. Right off the bat, we have new wheels. So machined aluminum, that gunmetal gray finish, sort of like a flat gunmetal gray, really makes the wheels pop with the blue paint job that we have. And then standard are gonna be these BREMBO calipers, bright red with the Genesis badging. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of these wheels? These are brand new 19-inch wheels. Let me know how you feel about the design. I think, like I said, with the Tasman Blue, I think it's really working, and those bright red BREMBO calipers standard. Now, the great news is this is a rear-wheel drive sedan, so the power is going to the rear wheels, and wait until you hear how much the standard G70 has when it comes to horsepower. It's gonna really surprise you. Now, coming down the side of the vehicle, I'm gonna have Steven swing around and show you the functional side fender vents. And then what you'll see, of course, the overall dimensions Very nicely sized. I feel like this is my favorite sedan in their lineup. You have color matched on the mirror caps, LED turn signals with the dark chrome. And look at how the dark chrome comes off of the door panel and into the side mirror setup there. Of course, up top, you're gonna have a little bit of an oversized sunroof. I like the way they paint the front portion black. I don't like the way they don't paint the back portion black. So that is a zonk. This should be all black, even though I do like the Tasman Blue. Dark chrome finish around the side windows, color matched on the door handles, and then super clean, just a little bit of a side skirt extension that drops down. Now coming towards the rear, of course, this being rear wheel drive, you have Brembos, all four corners. A lot of other brands don't have that. And if you're wondering how wide is the tire out back, 255 on the width. So nice to have a bit of rubber to meet the road. And the rear wheel drive is gonna give you a unique experience overall. Now, when we come around towards the back, love the way that body line comes down the side of the vehicle into the rear quarter panel and into our double stack taillight, just like the headlights, very unique to the Genesis brand. You do have just a little bit of a kick-up rear spoiler. And then, of course, the Genesis name spelled out, G70. And then going all the way down, we do have functional exhaust tips. These are decorative stainless steel trim rings, but you have functional exhaust on both sides and a painted rear diffuser area, body color matched to the rest of the vehicle. But why don't we go ahead? Wheels are new. Those Brembo brakes are standard. That's new. But let's talk about the power of this standard G70. All right, guys, we got the hood popped on this 2024 G70 right off the bat. I love seeing the aluminum style bracing up front, nice bright silver, stiffen up the front end of the vehicle. Tasteful, simple engine cover, but it's what's underneath the engine cover that's all new for 2024 model year. You're looking at a 2.5 liter inline four turbocharged engine. So they got rid of the 2 liter. This is a 2.5 liter. And if you're wondering, what does it produce? Quite a bit more power. 300 horsepower, 311 pound-feet of torque. It's made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 5.4 seconds. Top speed around 150 miles per hour, and the vehicle weighs 3,750 pounds. MPGs, 24 in the city and 29 on the highway. So nice to see that they're still giving you an option between a small displacement inline four turbocharged engine and the larger 3.3 liter twin turbo V6. 300 horsepower, not too shabby, but why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we are inside this 2024 updated Genesis G70. This one being your entryway into the G70 family with that 2.5 liter turbocharged engine. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I want something that's sporty. I want something that's luxurious, but I don't want a German Euro vehicle. To be honest with you, they just make me sick because I see them all the time. But I really, every time I see a Genesis, I'm always like, doing a triple take. That's what that was. That wasn't any kind of, twitching. That was a triple take because of how good the car looks on the road. I want one. How much is it? MSRP for this one that's a prestige trim with the 2.5 liter turbo comes right in at $47,950. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. Love the two-tone material. Dark soft touch, and then look at that aluminum style trim. Right around the door handle, you have the Lexicon premium sound system. And then even with that off-white, it looks very classy and sporty. Perforated material, the stitching, no gloss black. Door pocket is a little tight, so maybe, I'm gonna say probably 2 cheeseburgers and a medium-sized fry from Mickey D's and a strawberry shake to wash it down. That's about all you're gonna be able to fit in there. Now going from the door panel to the dash, They brought the stitching in, which is really nice. The soft touch, more stitching around the corner here. And then you slide on in, we got that 10.25-inch infotainment system. I like the way it's mounted on the lower portion here rather than the upper part of the dash. Really keeps it out of your line of sight. Of course, it's full touchscreen capability, all of the features you could ever expect, quiet mode, the whole 9 yards. You could adjust all your different climate controls, all from the screen if you want to. Let me throw it into reverse. Backup camera, semi-clear on the resolution. It could be a little bit better, I think, but I do like the trajectory, which is really nice. And then I put it right back in the park. You got your fancy start-stop button, toggle switches for your radio controls, real knobs, and then you'll notice that we have our dual climate control with our touch screen. Real easy to operate. You got 3 stages of ventilated seats, 3 stages of heated seats, of course a heated steering wheel, and then down below we have wireless charging, USB-A, and a 12-volt. This is going to control your 8-speed automatic. You got your mode selector switch, which I'll show you more of that when you come to the business side. 2 cup holders. Here is your Genesis key fob. Very, very special, classy key fob. I like that. Semi-soft on the armrest with the stitching. Open it up, you got another USB-C, and you have enough room in here, I would say 12, maybe 13, a baker's dozen of G.I. Joe action figures. They're not dolls, they're action figures. You could have Snake Eyes, you could have Duke, Cobra Commander, all the greats. And guess what? They are going for money on the interwebs. But you could keep them nice and safe in there. Unfortunately, my G.I. Joe, because I'm the oldest of 6 kids, were all destroyed by my brothers and sisters. It really kind of pisses me off still. The seats, the leather material, the silver trim, the perfect, even the piping. I mean, everything is high-class notchy in here. And if you're looking, you got your seat controls, plus you have your chauffeur seat. So if the person in the back wants you to move the front seat, you could do it right from the driver's seat, or they can move it themselves. And then on top of that, you got your standard size sunroof. It's a little larger than a standard size, but basically standard size sunroof with a power shade. But why don't you come over to the business end? I want to show you behind the leather wrap steering wheel in this Genesis. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings for the driver's seat. I love the aluminum sill plate with the Genesis name that illuminates LED. Pedal box right out of a Genesis luxury race car. Aluminum dead pedal, brake, and throttle. Seat controls are easy to get to, and you can move them 20 different ways from Sunday. I love how comfortable the seats are, but they're semi-supportive for cornering, which is nice, because wait until we go for a little spin. I think this is going to surprise you. I do like the leather on the steering wheel, especially the 2-piece leather, perforated and smooth, and the stitching. I don't like the horn button. This horn button does not fit anywhere in here. It's got the orange peel material design. Don't like that. I want smooth, just like the dash, and I want it to have the stitching. So that's a zonk. But you got flat black, some flat silver, and you do have paddles to go up and down the 8-speed automatic, and it is electric tilting and telescoping steering wheel. And then we have our digital gauge cluster. Of course, the different modes. You can scroll through different information in the center display, digital tech, and analog speedometer. Here's your different modes, by the way. You got Sport Plus, Sport Comfort, Eco, and Custom mode, which you could set up exactly the way that you want it. But my preference is Sport Plus mode. That's what I go with. But if you want to see, it's now time to check out the backseat area and see if your passengers are going to enjoy riding with you in your G70. All right, guys, backseat area, and this is where it gets a little rocky. If you're comparing this to some of the German Euro brands, like say the BMW 3 Series, this is pretty tight back here. Now, I have plenty of headroom. It's just the rest of the room, and I had to move this seat up. If you move it back to where, say, Steven likes to sit, which he likes to sit all the way back here, you could see how it's just crushing my legs. I mean, right now my bones are breaking, and you don't even know the pain right now that I'm in. Thanks, Steven. But obviously, we're not going to have too much pressure on our rear passenger's legs, but still, it's on the tight side. I do like the way you have AC vents and 2 USB-Cs, but these cargo nets have got to go. Got to go. You put a bag of Lay's chips in here, they're just gonna, your chips are gonna look like crumbs. They're gonna look like dust because of the stupid cargo net. I don't like that. What I do like though, is you have a nice center armrest, and look at the way they put the nice trim finish around the cup holders. It's all about the fine touches, but it's all about also what can you bring with you on your next road trip. So let's get into the trunk and see what we could stuff in this G70. All right guys, time to get in the trunk. I like the way they hide the trunk release button right in the back of the actual trunk lid. Hit that button, lifts up. You're gonna be greeted to about 13 cubic feet of space. The rear seat does fold down, which is nice. And you do have two nooks, one on this side for a box of Twinkies, and we have another side there with a cargo net for a second box of Twinkies. It is a little tight on the cargo space compared to some of the competition, but what is really nice is that you do get a spare. A lot of the competitors don't give you a spare anymore. You do get a spare on this G70, but guess what? Let's put the rubber on the road, not this road, but that road, and go on throttle and see how this new G70 drives. All right, guys, we are inside this updated 2024 Genesis G70 sedan. I want to show you the extra horsepower and performance. So if you're ready, I'm ready. On throttle, here we go. Nice. That 8-speed automatic drops down and we are off to the races. So I have it in Sport Plus mode, which really is a big difference over regular sport. And then having that 300 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque really changes the personality of this entry-level G70. Now, what's great is you're going to still get all of the awesome tech. So you have that 10.25-inch infotainment system screen, easy to get to. Love the AC controls. Those are very like kind of spot on the placement, and once you get the hang of it, I mean, it's easy to adjust your temperature, whether you want your seats heated or ventilated, all of those different things nicely placed right there on the dash rather than having to go into the infotainment system setup. But the steering, when you're in Sport Plus mode, gets quicker, the throttle sensitivity gets quicker, and the way that the engine and the transmission behaves is quicker. But really, very, very respectable for being now your entry-level engine. Making a U-turn, easy peasy, and then we're gonna go on throttle again from a dead stop. Are you ready? Because I'm definitely ready. On throttle, here we go. Nice. So what's wonderful is the power gets to the ground, to those rear wheels, super effectively, and that allows you to really take advantage of the extra power that this engine puts out. And that really is what allows you to have a different driving experience than last year's model with the 2-liter turbocharged inline-4. But for $46,000, to get this type of luxury on the interior is really telling on what Genesis is bringing to the table, especially when you think of the sound quality in here. You got the Lexicon premium sound system, and then you're also getting great visibility. It's just the back seat is on the tighter side. That is going to be one of the downfalls with the G70 over the bigger G80, but I love the driving dynamics of this new G70, especially with the 2.5-liter turbocharged engine. But we're gonna go ahead and get back to Crown Hyundai and wrap this one up, so I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, been a great day in so many ways here at Crown Genesis. Definitely want to thank Casey and the rest of the team getting us access to this Tasman Blue 2024 G70. Let me know what you think. Is this the best new sport luxury sedan for the money at the end of the day, especially with the new engine, more horsepower, standard Brembo brakes, and all the other fine touches? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rides family. Of course, we need to thank Stephen Flood Photography, working that camera like a champ. Thank you, Stephen, for your hard work day in and day out. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.